Let's start off by talking about your work. What do you do for a job?
Currently, I'm working in a real estate in Dubai. It's interesting industry because I can see different type of people, different class, but mostly they're rich. But I work in real estate, managing like for the landlord to the tenant and then rental dispute. So not a lot of people are gonna know when I explain my occupation. I have to explain again and again to for them to understand.
What's your favorite part of your job?
My favorite part, I like the people in the company. It's like I said, different type of people. Even the employee, they have different nationality. Dubai, Indian, Egyptians, Lebanese, and Russians, and also Philippines. So I can see different type of people, and I can get to know their culture. That's what I like. Apart from the employee, I like the employee more. Yeah, I would say that.
What job would you like to do in the future?
I like to be a freelancer. I know it's not realistic. It's I like freedom, so I can go anywhere I want. Like I can see people on internet. They're going a lot of the country. They're working, carrying a laptop, which is quite famous also on the internet. Also, people want to be a freelancer, but I know it's not that realistic. But I will try. I will try learn more skill, and then if I have enough saving, I would try to be a freelancer for 1 or 2 years.
What job did you want to do when you were a little girl?
Oh, wow. I was a little girl. I want to be entrepreneur. I want to be the big boss. I want to have lots of money. No matter what industry I am in, but as long as I have lots of money and then I am a big boss, then I'm fine.
Now let's talk about email. What kind of emails do you receive at work?
At work, I mean, you mean my work or my personal email?
Either.
Both. My personal receive related to the bank, related to the website I subscribe. Most of them are like that, and work mostly from client, mostly from the colleague, and from the internal conversation. Some like meeting. That's it.
Do you prefer to communicate via email or text or instant message?
Communicate. I would go straight to that person. I will explain it more. I think that we can get to know what this person wants to say and I want to express.
Do you normally reply to emails or instant messages as soon as you receive them, or does it take a little time?
No, why do I have to take time? Yeah, I reply instantly. We communicate through WhatsApp and email. And once I have time, for sure, for email, I use ChatGPT to rephrase the sentence. For WhatsApp, you can just type and reply casually.
Are you happy when you receive marketing emails?
If it's too much and it's not related to my interest and it's not related to my current situation, I'm not happy. It's like a junk email, and then it's like somebody you're walking on the street. Somebody like everyone, hi, hello, and I don't know. Then I have to reply then. So that's the feeling I'm facing. So I don't like it.
Now let's talk about languages. How many languages do you speak?
Oh, so basically, I'm born in Myanmar, but my grandparents are from China. So my native language will be Burmese and Chinese. It's like lots of people, their parents move here and work here for a long time, and then they were born here. But their nationality, their culture, their background, their passport will still remain with their original countries. So same situation like me.
How useful will English be to you in the future?
Again,
How useful will the English language be to you in the future?
in the future, from in a school till high school, I have to study English as one subject, and then after that, I have to take some courses to understand. That's it. I only use most of my English in Dubai, and then my conversation English I improve a lot in Dubai. But back in the home country, people from my country, they are not that good at English.
What do you remember about learning languages or learning English at school?
What I remember that we're having picnic with teacher a lot. Yeah, people are nice. People, they all want to study a lot. They want to be as native as they can, or at least like business level, so they can just work abroad. Yeah.
What do you think would be the hardest language for you to learn?
I would say Arabic. But before, a couple of months back, I try to learn Arabic because it's a plus point for my work career. So I try to learn, and the pronunciation is coming from your throat, and then it's totally different experience I have learned. At least I know three language. It's totally different. So I cannot speak, and then the grammar is so complicated. So I think maybe take more time to learn about that.
Now let's talk about swimming. Did you learn to swim when you were a child?
No, I'm afraid, really afraid. In my country, we have a river, but it's quite dangerous. So it's kind of not that hygiene enough. So I learned swimming in Dubai. We have pools, even in the building, they have a pools, lots of pools. So I learned by myself though.
How often do you go swimming now?
Mm, Swimming once a week, I would say. Yeah, it's kind of relaxations. You just soak yourself in the water, under the water, and then you feel nice.
Are there lots of places to go swimming where you live?
Lots of just one pool. We have one pool, and then one thing I have noticed is people don't like to do exercise, even in the gym, right? In the pool, and then very less people, very few people. So I have a lot of spaces. Okay, the person I would say it's my aunt, my mom's sister. She live in kind of countryside of the whole country. So she got lucky because she married to a businessman husband. So their family, they have export transportation. They do the business of transportations, trading, and then they also have some like a big plot of land. They also do like planting. They also have the hospitals. They also do the hospital job. So I would say they cover a wide range of the business, but I don't like to be like her. Yeah, as I said before, I want to be a businesswoman when I was a girl. But after getting in touch with her, getting to know her life and visiting her place, I get to know that she's very tiresome. She has to work almost 7 days a week, lots of pressure on her, and then she cannot take a proper rest. Lots of the thing you have to know lots of the knowledge like accounting, a lot of finance, and then people relations, also like traveling a lot, and then she doesn't have time for herself. Whenever I met her, each a year we have a meeting, family meeting, and then whenever I met her, she is oh like she looks terrible. She looks tiresome, and then her hairs grows her white hair grows more than my mom. And then I would say her personal experience of the life happiness, I would rate she would have 3. Yeah,
Okay,
so
that's
this
the end of part 2. Well done.
finish.
Yeah. So we've been talking about a famous business person, and we're going to continue to talk about famous people in part 3. So, what kinds of people are most famous in your country today?
I was a celebrity though, because as you know, they all show up in the TV, and then most of the people are the fun, and then they're just like, oh, Big Brother is coming, or this lady is beautiful lady is coming, so they are famous.
Why are there so many stories in the news about famous people?
People wants to be famous, I would say. More majority people are ordinary, and then they want to be outstanding. They want to be working better than other people. They want to feel better. They want to feel nice. That's why I think they want to be famous.
Do you agree or disagree that many young people want to be famous today?
Very agree, because as you can see, influencer, internet, people, you can have a phone, you can record, and then you can be your own influencer without any teamwork helping you. So I would say yes.
Now let's talk about the advantages of being famous. Do you think that it's easy for famous people to become rich?
Not really. Fame and rich, sometimes they come along, but not everyone can make money, especially in internet right now. You can make famous by individual yourself, and then you cannot earn the money from that. So it depends.
Do you think that famous people enjoy being famous?
50-50. Depends on the personality. I wouldn't say all the people are enjoying the fame. Some people get accidentally famous, and then they want to have their own personal life. So they don't want to take a picture with all the people, with their fans, and then they just want to have some privacy.
In what ways could famous people make the world a better place?
By influencing the people in a good way, by the mentality, I would say. So since lots of the normal people, they will follow what the famous people did. So I think your behavior, the way you speak, and the word you speak, the most importantly, so that thing will influence the people and change the world.
So I'm going to give you some feedback on part 1, part 2, and part 3 of the test. I'm going to give you more tactical, strategic advice on how you could do your best on test day. And then I'll give you some feedback on the marking criteria, pronunciation, fluency, grammar, vocabulary, and then I'll give you your score. Part 1 was very good. You were able to answer every question and you were able to elaborate and develop your answers. You were a little bit nervous at the start, which is totally normal. An examiner will know that. In the real test, the examiner will know that, but you relaxed more as I asked you more and more questions. One thing that might affect your pronunciation score or your fluency score is when you're nervous. You seemed a little bit nervous. Do you tend to speak quickly when you're nervous?
Yes.
Do you think you spoke quicker than you normally do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Way too quicker.
And what effect do you think that might have on your speech?
Well, I cannot think properly. I cannot control what I'm speaking. That's what I feel when I speak, when I'm nervous and I speak quickly.
So we deal with a lot of students who speak too quickly. It's totally normal to speak quicker than normal when you're nervous. But let me talk about the impact that can have on your score. So pronunciation, an examiner must understand all the words that you're saying. The faster you speak, the more difficult it is sometimes. So if you had perfect pronunciation and you spoke at that speed, it wouldn't be so much of a problem. But because you're not a native English speaker, you don't have perfect pronunciation. Nothing wrong with that. But when you combine pronunciation that needs a little bit of work with speaking really quickly, it can sometimes cause a problem for the examiner to understand you. So one thing that I would say straight away is try to reduce the speed at which you're talking. I know that's extremely difficult for some people. It comes with practice, but if we think about the root cause of the problem is not really the speed of your speech. There's nothing wrong with your mouth. The problem is your brain. You're nervous. So if we can attack that problem, you being nervous, that is going to reduce the speed. Because if we just say slow down, you will get nervous again and you will start to speak more quickly. But if we can reduce the amount of stress that you have, stress is really fear. It's another word for fear. So you're afraid of not doing so well on the test.
Yeah, even now my fingers are getting cold.
Yeah, so the best way to combat that is through preparation. So being totally prepared so that it's just like tying your shoelaces or driving a car or riding a bike. You've done it so many times that you don't get nervous riding a bike. You don't get nervous tying your shoelaces. You've done it so many times that it just becomes automatic. So I would really recommend that you do a lot more practice and follow the advice that we would give you here today. And that is going to mean that you're just doing something that is routine. You're just doing something that is, you're totally expecting the questions coming, not the exact questions, but how you can answer any topic. So that would be one of the main things that I would suggest for you. Part 2, you did really, really well. You spoke for up to 2 minutes. I had to stop you, which was good. The only problem is the question asked about a famous person. So again, it's not an IQ test or a knowledge test. So you could have picked any famous business person, from China, it could be Jack Ma, or from America, it could be Elon Musk, or someone everybody know or a little bit about. There's no right or wrong answer. Technically, the examiner doesn't know whether your auntie is famous or not.
Because she got a lot of prizes, but we're doing well in the business. So
your examiner is probably not an expert on Burmese business people. If you do not answer the question, that is a problem. One question out of all the questions that we ask is not a huge problem, but you also did it in part 3. So part 3, I was asking you, for example, why are famous people in the news? And you just talked generally about famous people. So the question was about why do people want to read about famous people in the newspaper or on TV in the news? It was really asking that specific question. So you need to be very careful with that. Feel free to ask the examiner in part 3, can you repeat the question? Or, sorry, what do you mean in the news? and they would have to explain, paraphrase it or repeat the question or explain in the newspapers or news stories or in social media they're in. So that will allow you to clarify what the examiner is asking you, or just give you a little bit of time. Don't do it for every question because it'll be very obvious what you're doing. But if you're not sure, do ask. But part 2, you have 1 minute to really look and think about the question. So please do read part 2 carefully and stick to that. You don't have to stick to the bullet points, but you must talk about the main topic. Other thing that you did in part 2 was you were looking down at each point. So we have bullet point number 1, 2, 3, 4. These are just to help you, but you shouldn't use them too much because it's a very unnatural way to speak. When you are practicing, try to just focus on, I need to talk about this topic at the top. These are here to help you. And you can, you used your preparation time. This is here to help you. But if you're constantly looking down and checking, it's not as fluent, and you're stopping and starting. What I would suggest is you speak as much as you can. And then if you run out of things to say, then look down, and then you can, okay, I'll talk about that, and then keep talking. And then if you run out of things to say, you can use that. But don't stick rigidly to the bullet points. You can talk about other things. As long as you're talking about a famous business person in this question, you don't have to use these things. So some people like to tell stories. Some people like to talk about emotions. It depends on who you are. Some people like to just talk about examples. Some people like to explain things in detail, whatever you feel comfortable talking about within that topic. And that's really going to help you. Part 3, what I would recommend is you develop your answers a little bit more. So part 1, your development was fine. But part 3, because it's more university style discussion of ideas, you can extend your answers by giving examples, explanations. So for example, you talked about people accidentally becoming famous. Who, so if you are giving examples of something, like actually talk about those examples. Or you don't have to always give examples. But a good way to answer part 3 questions is, here's what I think, or here's what other people think. Here's an explanation of that. And here's an example of that. So if you can do those things, those tactics, those strategies, that will really, really help you next time. And we'll bring you back and we'll do another one with you. In terms of your pronunciation, your grammar, your vocabulary, your fluency, I think your biggest strengths are your vocabulary and your fluency. You are very, very fluent, but be very careful because fluency and answering the question are linked. So you could be very fluent, but you're not actually answering the
different question. Different answer.
Yeah. So again, this is about the speed thing. Calm down. Ask the examiner, can you repeat the question, or what does that mean? Or just take a few seconds to think about it and then calmly answer the question. You are extremely fluent, but you could do with slowing down a little bit. Fluency is not about speed, really. It is about, can you speak without unnatural pauses and hesitations and things like you don't have a lot of I don't know. You're not doing a lot of that. You're just speaking normally, but you're speaking very quickly. Listen to the speed that I'm speaking at. Like don't have to match me or anything like that, but I don't speak like this when I'm speaking to my friends or my family. I'd be speaking very quickly compared to this, but because I'm speaking to you and I want you to understand what I'm saying, I'm slowing things down. So fluency is a strength, but answering the question, a little bit of a weakness. Vocabulary, you have a very wide-ranging vocabulary. You're able to use very topic-specific words and deal with most topics very, very well. So I think vocabulary is probably your biggest strength. Grammar, you do have some little systematic errors like this.
If I have enough saving, I would try to be a freelancer for 1 or 2 years. It's kind of not that hygiene enough. At least I know 3 languages. It's totally different.
But I think many of your grammar errors unusually could be related to pronunciation, which I think is your biggest weakness. Not criticizing you or anything like that. We all have strengths and weaknesses.
It's fine.
It's interesting you're from Myanmar because you have, I don't deal with many Burmese students. I have been there and I've taught there, but I There's not a huge number, but it's interesting that you have a weakness that many Vietnamese students have, which is called final sounds. So the final sounds of a word, Vietnamese students, and you do this as well, they will often cut off the last sound. So for example, time becomes Thai, think. So you wouldn't say think, you would thing, or thin, or thin, or thing. You're not saying the final sound often. Or sometimes you would miss S's off the ends of words. So that's important sometimes because tenses can often be indicated with the final sound. Like I start or I started, like the final sound makes the difference in the tense. Or plural endings can change the grammar. So
it's kind of relaxations.
So there's sometimes you're mixing those things up as well. So the final sounds do affect your grammar score as well. But there are a lot of systematic errors, which means the same error is coming up again and again. So those would be the two areas that I would work on the most. Focusing on saying every syllable, especially the last sound, could solve a lot of problems because we're solving the pronunciation issue. We're solving the speaking too quickly issue, and we're solving a lot of the grammar issues as well, because often you're missing the last sound, which affects grammar sometimes.
So your advice, I can speak slowly and pay attention on each word.
Yes. Okay. We don't want to do that too much because it can sound a little bit robotic if someone is talking like this and they're really, so you need a little bit of balance there. And then once you solve that problem, we can help you with something called connected speech, which is, for example, instead of do you want a coffee, we'd say, do you want a coffee? So it's it all connects together. But I think that's a more advanced technique, but we need to solve that problem first. I'm going to give you a full report and I'm going to send it to you via PDF with all your scores in there and all your mistakes and all the areas of improvement. I'm going to send that to you. And if you guys want it, you can download it and read the report yourself. I've also included lots of practice questions, samples in there. And we've also listed the 100 most common words said by our band 7, 8, and 9 students in their practice tests. And we're going to include those in the PDF as well. So you can go to the description and the pinned comment and you can download that for free. And we'll send that to you with all your scores. Any questions before we finish?
Yeah, I think I have got a lot of feedback from you. Out of my expectation is you just said I have a good vocabulary. I thought it's my weakness though.
No, that's why it's good to get feedback. People often think that learning languages is all about vocabulary. That's an important part, but a small part. Doesn't matter how good your vocabulary is if nobody can understand the word you're trying to say. Okay. So each thing is important. Grammar, vocabulary, fluency, pronunciation is important. But I would say, especially for you, pronunciation is the most important thing, because you could have the world's best grammar, vocabulary, fluency, but if you're mispronouncing the last sound,
people cannot understand me. Yes.
I mean, some people really struggle with speaking and they're great at writing.
Yes.
And some people are vice versa. Like we have students who get a band 9 in speaking and a band 6.5 in writing. You, I would guess, are better at writing because your grammar is quite good, your vocabulary is quite good. I would guess that, but I would have to look at your writing. But that would be my strong advice would be pronunciation first.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your advice and feedback.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.